Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG, and we're back with Dominaria remastered delays and cancellation of products at Wizard. Could they be slowing down? Let's take a look at it in today's cast. Don't forget, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please sub up as we go through the quick news review of things that are happening in the Magic community, mainly at WotC. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, we're going to start things off with Dominaria Remastered delays. Don't worry, kids. None of this is really going to hit us as of yet, although it is kind of scary because if you see here, WPN premium stores located in these areas scheduled for January 6th are going to be delayed. China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, the Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan, and Thailand. So basically, the PAC area, PAC Pacific. Anyway, limited product availability. The following locations will have Dominaria Master Draft Boosters only on launch on January 13th. Thailand. The following locations will have Dominaria Master Collector Boosters available for launch on January 13th, with Draft Boosters to be available later in the month. So China, South Korea, and Taiwan are only going to get Collector Boosters to start with. Additionally, the following locations have all Dominaria Master products delayed until approximately January 20th, 1 week after release. Indonesia and the Philippines. It says here, thank you for your patience and understanding. We're excited to share Dominaria Mastery with players around the world. Look forward to enjoying the celebration. Yada 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 at WPN stores. Um, so for North America, it really doesn't mean anything, but I think it does kind of say a little bit to the supply chain issues that they're having and the fact that they're trying to pump out so much product that they can't even get it everywhere they want to get it. I expect we've had these delays for over a year now. I expect to see the same kind of delay, probably in the same kind of areas, uh, with All Will Be One for the Phyrexia set to be released in February. Um, Now you may think, well, that's a long time, and they've already been taking pre-orders. And to be honest, if there's not a delay on Phyrexia All Is One, there's two reasons. A, they finally got their shit together. That's doubtful. B, uh, the amazing decline in product purchase because of everybody being price sensitive, air quotes going off. Um, People are actually cutting back how much they buy of the product. Therefore, they can make enough to supply the original waves. Even if they want to make more, there's nobody buying it. Now, I'm not saying that means they need to cut back, which I think they do, but I also don't think they're smart enough to just cut print runs in the middle of print runs. So I'm not sure how that works for them because they try to work in advance. But anyway, point being, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. To kind of give you guys a summary of that, a lot of people I've been talking to, local LGSs, ones around the country that I've stopped in and got friendly with. Uh, Magic keeps pumping out all this extra product and tell us not to be price sensitive, only buy what you want, only interact with what's for you. Well, guess what? The stores that support that stuff on the large scale aren't spending more money than what they're already spending. So, with the player base literally waiting for Amazon dumps and not buying, and the stores buying the exact same amount, means that the stores are cutting back because they're getting stuck with product. And instead of, if it's a $1 million store, instead of spending $1 million, they're dividing that $1 million up across all the products instead of, well, the $1 million used to be just for standard sets when they came out, so we'll add extra money for all this extra stuff. That is not what's going down. The $1 million ain't changing. It's just where they put it. So as people stop ordering things, um, they cut back on their orders and then save money by not adding a bunch of product to their shelves that aren't going to sell. Because you got to stay liquid and have that money moving to make those businesses work. So I think as we get to 2023, Wizards going to learn that even more the hard way as we continue. Now, with that said, let's take a look at some very interesting news that's been coming out about Wizards cutting product. Not. However, they are going to be cutting 5 games from a lineup which they haven't even announced yet. They just shut them down. So let's look at that real quick. So Wizards did announce here, Wizards of the Coast, other major properties like Dungeons and Dragons, struggles to entice console and PC gaming audiences. That's because they try to monetize it. While a tabletop game may be a cultural juggernaut, digital offshoots are anything but. 2021's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, for instance, reportedly received dismal sales with an all-time peak player count on Steam of 9,000 people. That is god awful. Subsequently, due to the poor performance, Wizards of the Coast has allegedly pulled the plug on several video game projects. So, the thing Wizards of the Coast I don't think can realize is you can't just pump out a game like you do Magic cards. They're two different products and they're done differently. Um, and that's something they've struggled with for a very long time. Just like that's why Blizzard has really good games, but they don't have a card game line because they're two different things. Have they had card games? Yes, they have, but they're two different monsters, two different business models, and they're trying to run them both the same. And because of that, they're failing. Blizzard stopped and got out of that business. Wizards is apparently probably too dumb to realize that it's a different model. They got to do it differently so they keep throwing money at it, and it's just failing over and over. If you guys don't remember the last thing that came out, not just Dark Alliance, but they had that Perfect World game that actually got shut down. Everybody got refunded their money because it was so poor. Um, yeah, so they've shut down here. It says several. I think the last count we got was 5 video games that they shut down. It says here, BBM Bloomberg reports that stated by Wizards of the Coast canceled at least 5 video game projects. This dramatic move reportedly comes as Wizards in and scales back its ambitions in the industry. From the report, it's unclear what caused the dramatic shift in product strategy from Wizards. The poor performance of previous gaming titles is an obvious explanation. However, Magic the Gathering's billion-dollar valuation should easily facilitate continued growth. Now, like we just mentioned, it's easy to say, yeah, they have the money, they should easily be able to grow this product into other realms. But again, what people aren't realizing is a card game is ran differently than video games, which is ran differently than movie products. And like the product lines are different, the player base is different, the people who care are different. Um, it's not everything. Like, the only person who's come close to getting that kind of um, we'll say formula correct is probably Marvel with comic books to movies. But again, that's not card games to comic books. Marvel has card games, and they're not great either. So, not nobody's really figured that formula out yet, and I think that's why they're struggling. But also, it goes to show that people, indulging with their price sensitivity in only products they want is Wizards stretching themselves thin and then telling people not to worry about it is causing them to actually have to cut back. And I wonder if they're smart enough to figure that out. So anyway, moving on, it also talks about here statement provided by Bloomberg. The spokesman for Wizards claim that they're still committed to using digital games despite the cancellations, explaining the decision. The spokesman went on to state that Wizards of the Coast has made some changes to our long-term portfolio to focus on games which are strategically aligned with developing our existing brands and those which show promise in expanding and engaging our audience in new ways. So they're trying to switch more to D&D in a different way. They're getting out of trying to do it with Magic because they've done nothing but make a shit show out of it. And that's their own fault. So in a report, the complete list of canceled games was not provided. However, it was revealed that projects, from Other Side Games and Hidden Path Entertainment were both scrapped, with both games being early in development. Concrete details about either title are few and far between, but we do know that Hidden Path Entertainment games are supposedly a AAA third-person open-world fantasy RPG that will be taking place inside the Dungeons & Dragons franchise. So, again, this might be focused more toward Dungeons & Dragons as they try to figure out some way to milk more money out of it like they do Magic. But apparently what's happening is they're realizing that they can't because they're running their business poorly. So the game from Outside Entertainment is more mysterious, with job listings only stated that the game has multiplayer gameplay systems set in the Forbidden Realms. It should be Forgotten Realms. Anyway, it was believed that the development of this unnamed title was progressing well. Speaking to Games Beast in March, CCO of Other Side Entertainment stated the D&D game is going well. You'd have to ask them to know for sure, but I think Wizards is happy with what they're doing. So I think what they're trying to do is try to make all these one-off games, much like Arena or what have you, and puzzle games and all that good jazz, which are just really flopping. And they're not realizing that people want games, especially multiplayer games, that continue for a long time, like WoW, um, or one of the more games I was popular with, which is still kind of running, is Ultima Online. Check that bad boy out. That's old school. But anyway, they want games that continue to run and don't have something that just ends and there's nothing to do. Because once you get into games like that, there's no point to investing or buying any more than $50 and then just play the game until it's dead, like most console games. Again, that's something I think they struggle with. So, will Wizards ever figure this out? Probably not this year either. 2023 is not looking good for them because they're just too dumb to figure out how to make money. Um, Kind of crazy, right? Because it's our fault because we're price sensitive. So, with all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. Check out links to the eBay store and Patreon in the description. If you haven't subbed up, now's a chance. Still trying to reach that thousand subscriber mark. So until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.